really, really pissing me off. I'm going to read out the first few paragraphs as opposed to the whole report. Chesterfield captain Ian Evatt said he was punched, kicked and spat on the pitch by rival fans after the League One club's defeat at Preston. Evatt claimed he was attacked after the Spirettes were beaten 3-0 in the second leg of the playoff semi-final at Deepdale to lose 4-0 on aggregate. The 33-year-old used to play for Blackpool, Preston's Lancashire rivals. How long will this go on until there's a serious incident? It's too easy for fans to invade pitches, Evatt said. To be attacked on a football pitch and fear for your safety is an absolute disgrace. Okay, this is referring to pitch invasion on a at a football match. And obviously one side there is attacking a footballer from another side. I don't follow football, so I'm not 100% sure about the terminology there. But there's photos from the BBC, and it shows a lot of morons on the pitch. And I have to say, I've always had strong views on this. Um, I think there's just zero excuses. Zero excuses. And there might be sociologists and other such people who try to make excuses for these animals, but there is no excuses. Um, I'm using strong words here. I don't care. I really don't care because I've got nothing but contempt for people who use a sporting event to behave in that sort of way and, and somehow think it's okay. I think there is only one moral approach to this sort of problem, and that is just zero tolerance. Arrest them, jail them, ban them for life. The only way that this can be justifiably approached is by having zero tolerance, is by having an approach that really demonstrates that clubs, that the sport in general is taking this problem seriously. Now, to focus on football for a minute, and I want to talk about other sports, but to focus on football, in Britain, I think we have come a long way. I think it's better than the situation in the 1970s and the 1980s. But clearly, this is still a problem. Clearly, you still get situations like this. Now, for someone to fear for their life because a pack of cavemen thought it would be thought that it would be cool, or I don't know what's going through their mind. Whether it's a tribal partisanism towards one team or the other, the teams that I mentioned are not even the issue here, because it could involve any club, quite frankly. They just happen to be the teams involved in this particular incident. But it's not the first time, and it's probably unlikely to be the last time such an incident happens. The only way for I do believe in 100% supporting the police in situations like this, because the police are outnumbered and they do need the power to arrest these scumbags. Um, I've got strong views on it because I believe it is bad for this country, and I believe it degrades us as a society. That you can have a pack of cards behaving in this way, it disgusts me to the core, quite frankly. Um, I mentioned it's a problem in football, but it isn't completely immune to other sports either. I follow boxing. I'm not going to sort of sit here and say that boxing is squeaky clean. It's far from it. There are occasions when I believe certain boxing so-called fans behave in a disgusting manner. Um, Riots in boxing matches are relatively rare, I'm pleased to say, but you do get a high level of behaviour which is, in my view, out of line. Where partisanism towards one fighter goes to the extent of out, outright disrespecting the other fighter, booing his national anthem, jeering him in a way that goes well beyond just enthusiasm. I think there's a problem in a lot of sporting events whereby this sort of hysterical mindset takes over people and it's sort of like mob mentality. And I've got a very low opinion of such people. I do think that they're scum. I'm not talking here about people being enthusiastic at a sporting event. That's different. I'm talking about people who allow their enthusiasm to make them behave in a way that is uncivilized, that is just completely caveman-like, if that's even the right analogy. I'm trying to think of adjectives to describe this without just ranting, but I do feel strongly about it, and I don't think there's any excuses. You know, sociologists can say what they want, but in the end of the day, as a society, we shouldn't tolerate this. Regardless of where your support lies, that is not the issue. It really isn't. So it's up to the to whoever's administrating this. I don't know if it's the FA or League One or whatever. Whoever's administrating this to show these so-called fans zero tolerance. So whichever club they belong to, that club should take responsibility and throw out their membership. Full stop. Punish them. Make them suffer. Make them understand that what they are doing is unacceptable. Because if they get a slap on the wrist and let's say they get banned for one season or something, that isn't going to deter them. That is not going to deter them at all. Okay, using the hardline approach might make them angry, and I'm not saying it would necessarily change their behaviour, but there has to be an approach that sends out the message that it's unacceptable. Because as a society, we cannot tolerate this sort of mob mentality. I mean, put it this way: if you have a riot and you have people behaving that way in a riot, the police wouldn't show any mercy, and the wider public would most likely support the police. Um, if you have any situation and people use violence, people say, "Oh, that person's a thug." So why should it be okay in a sporting event? And frankly, I think there's some people in the world of football who should are in a position of authority and influence and set out a bad example. I mean, when you get football managers behaving like thugs themselves and yelling in referees' faces and throwing a tantrum because they don't get their own way, they're sending out the bad message. And these are people on multi-million pound salaries. So I've not got a lot of respect for them at all because I think they're also sending the wrong message. Um, it's unacceptable that any sportsman should have to face that sort of abuse. It's disgusting, utterly disgusting. Um, and the same applies to boxers. No boxer should have to go through something like that. And obviously, this wasn't a boxing event, but I'm just saying that you sometimes do get that very crude behavior. And I just, it sickens me that there are people out there who are so cowardly and lack self confidence to an extent that they can only feel empowered by being in a mob and behaving like a fucking I don't, animal is probably not even the right analogy because, we say behaving like an animal, but sort of derogatory towards animals. Um, Behaving like a scumbag, basically. I don't care if it sounds like I'm hating here. I am hating. I hate these people. I think they're the scum of the earth, and I think they're bad for this country, for society, and fuck them. So yeah, I do support the police 100% in these sort of situations. Not on collective punishment, so I wouldn't support the police, for example, punishing all supporters, but fans who are clearly causing problems, fuck them. I honestly believe show them no mercy. Go in there with truncheons, arrest them, throw them behind bars, and give them something to think about. The hell with them.